Hello everybody, welcome back once again. We're playing Kingdom Under Fire the Heroes, going through Urukubarr's campaign. Just wanted to go over a couple of things that I had done here between videos. First of all, it took Urukubarr up to 40. I don't actually remember what level I had him at before, but anyways, he's 40 now. And then I brought his officer up to 20, mostly just so that I could equip this other Necklace of Iron Will that I had bought, very early on in the game. Just wanted to have that on him as well. I didn't do anything else with his troop. Everything else is pretty much purchased. I've got the buckler, the heavy armor, all that, and I already had my Lich's ring here for even the previous video. So nothing else new there. I brought two of these riders up to 31. I don't think we're going to be able to use the third rider in the next battle. So this guy probably doesn't really matter that much. Probably actually could have cannibalized his experience, just basically return the unit to default and then pump the experience into some of these other units. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I need to do that. So also I have Rolk Morg. I have him as the Mammoth troop leader right now. He also has a necklace that's pretty decent. I went with explosion and fire resistance, just because as a Mammoth you're really not going to be needing resistance bonuses to anything else. They basically take no damage from melee or ranged, for instance. So I went with that. Also or I should say hired Raven Touch and made him the Wyvern unit. So only level 20, so I wasn't able to have, I guess, that great of gear, but I wanted to pick up some stuff, just to kind of maybe tide them over. Actually, I don't know if I'll put any experience into these. Usually I don't even bother with the Wyverns because I just don't use them that much. So. But anyways, yeah, I did go with the range and explosion resistance, and then I went with this Iron Morning Star. I don't know if this is needed at all, but yeah, that is where we are at. So I guess maybe Raven Touch having the extra melee damage is good for the Wyverns, right? Because all these guys it's melee and riding, so I assume they're getting their damage off of that melee stat. So. Let's head on out, and we will do this next battle, which is happening here in the Great Rift. That sounds fun. It says Bomber Wings and Storm Riders are deployed over the valley. 3 free and 2 support. Yeah, so we're gonna have, Urukubarr's unit, 2 riders, and then the 2 support.
Chieftain, Bomber Wings and Storm Riders fill the skies. These are not from Veland. They are humans. What's going on?
Chieftain, humans cannot be here without Veland's permission.
Whatever they throw at us, we will not turn back. Protect the swamp mammoths. Human knights are crowding Great Rift. We must protect the swamp mammoths until they pass through that valley of tin soldiers. Stay alert for dwarves and their bomber wings, but those human apes would not send storm riders and bomber wings alone. Watch for enemies on the ground as well. We cannot protect the burial ground without the swamp mammoths. We must succeed.
Okay, so I didn't actually realize that they were going to be giving us the 2 Wyverns, so what I did was actually reset my other troops. So, like, I had Crossbone and Raven Touch as my support unit, so I just brought them back down to level 1. And then pumped their experience back into Urukubarr and my 2 riders that I'm going to use. So that is how we're looking right now.
The red spot on the map is the exit from this valley. We must get the swamp mammoths to that spot. All units, protect the mammoths.
Okay, so this commentary is actually going to be a little bit rare here. This is the first time I've done commentary after having actually played. So I took the footage. I got to be honest, this was one of the most frustrating missions, if not the most frustrating missions in so far in all of it. in all of Kingdom Under Fire Heroes and the Crusaders. The problem here is that for one thing, we've got a lot of aerial units, and we can't use. We don't have an archer. Archers would have made this insanely easy, but not an option. So basically, if you notice here, so I'm making my way to a mortar unit. Sometimes this mortar unit comes through this valley. Sometimes it doesn't. It's probably like 75% of the time it would come through here, but for whatever reason, sometimes it just wouldn't show up. So again, I'm not sure why that was happening, but whatever. So in this case, it did. I also should say, and hopefully I'll bring it up again towards the end, but I think it, normally I tried to, I should say I absolutely made sure that I wasn't having any of my units die here, but I think that the Wyvern units don't really matter. I think it might be the case that the Wyverns that you get to control are almost completely worthless. I was watching them take on I think it was a bomber wing, and they were basically doing nothing to it. So I can't say for sure, but my initial thought after having just done, again, a little bit of watching, is that they do almost nothing. And then at the end here, we'll get to see one of my Wyvern units apparently didn't kill anything at all, which is completely bizarre to me. I find that so hard to believe. But apparently that's the case. So, and then the other Wyvern unit only got 4 kills, and so it got very little experience. So, again, my initial thoughts then are that maybe the Wyverns don't really matter, and if you get frustrated with this level, then don't even worry about them. Just let them die, and it probably won't end up being that big of a deal. But also, the swamp mammoths in this mission are immortal.
Splinter in his foot. It's in pain. We can't control it.
Just pull out the splinter.
A splinter to a mammoth is the size of a log to us. It will take time to remove it.
Okay. The swamp mammoths have got a splinter. And I didn't want to interrupt them. But yeah, anyways, the swamp mammoths are actually immortal, so you don't even have to worry about anything attacking them whatsoever. It's really more about watching your own troops. Also, I should say, during this phase here, I like to just kind of hang out here in the center. I noticed that if I tried to, and troops come from the southeast, enemy troops, that is. I noticed that if I tried to go down there too early, oftentimes a storm rider would jump onto one of my riders or something and just demolish them. And again, since we have no archers, once storm riders get onto your units, it's almost a death sentence. So really, again, it's kind of just waiting for the storm riders to jump on whatever, a mammoth or other wyverns or whatever it is, and then send your wyverns over there to try to help out. But again, I think it's really the case that they're almost worthless. So you're also just not going to get that much out of them. But anyways, so at this point now there is a mortar unit and a longbow down in the southeast corner. And so what I did there was to put my riders on both of those units as soon as possible, and then I just tried to run Urukubarr through all of these other melee units, and then kind of take over for one of the riders. Right, we want the riders, or at least one of them, to be riding, and that's not possible if there is a mortar unit or a longbow unit. Here I'm also periodically checking.
Swamp mammoth swerved away from the woods. It is entering the valley now.
Swift away from the
Must be
woods.
worried about more splinters. All we can do is follow the mammoth and attack this
Alright, so anyways, yeah, just periodically checking on what's still alive, who's engaged with what, and ideally here you want to engage storm riders after one of your units is already engaged. And you can see now my Wyvern is already starting to take damage now, meaning that one of those Storm Riders is engaged with it. And, you know, unfortunately, that's just the kind of the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, here it's getting chunked out pretty bad. And so I don't know if I end up, you know, or having them attack somebody else instead. But and then here, obviously, just kind of trying to, you know, keep Urukubarr a little bit more healthy. Also, I was really annoyed here by just the fact that we have two support units to control. Means that when we actually try to go to heal, like Urukubarr's unit using Enrage, you have to, you know, press to the right or whatever, or even the left twice instead of just hitting it once and then healing right away, right? Because if you try to do that, you'll send your Wyverns to wherever. And I found that to be really, really annoying. But again, it is what it is. And yeah, you can see here my Wyvern is now already down to about half health. There's almost nothing you can do about that. You know, maybe you can just kind of hold off on having your Wyverns engage on like a Storm Rider or something, like once a bunch of the other Wyverns are involved in that. But you know, I don't know. Then you're just really doing nothing. So yeah. Anyways, just kind of trying to get these melee troops done. All right, so it looks like everything is done now. At this point, I think it's actually a good idea to go back into the center. You know, for one thing, I think there are actually technically like wooded areas in there, and that'll kind of keep you safe from Storm Riders. And actually it's kind of a central location. I think the next group of enemies comes from the northwest. So we'll see here, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Storm Rider coming in.
Moving. Stand walk. Go. Rider. Wait.
And yeah, I mean, we're looking. I mean, honestly, this was the best. This was the best attempt that I made. I mean, this is the victory, but it seemed like every other attempt that I had made before this, you know, some random stupid thing would go wrong, right? Like, I don't know, a Storm Rider would jump on again like a rider, one of my Orc Riders, and just demolish it, right? And I think being here in the woods really actually helped out a lot. You know, it kind of dissuades them from attacking you, and then they'll go back onto, you know, allied troops. There it is, Wyvern defeated.
Worm kill.
Yeah, so now it looks like there's a couple of Storm Riders there now, and it also looks like a couple of my other allied units are engaged with them already. So I figured, all right, now's a time to engage those Storm Riders. Now here you can see there's another mortar in the back, and I think there's another longbow. So very similar to the previous set of enemies, and then there's also obviously a couple of melee troops as well. But those, you know, we don't have to worry about so much. We really just want to get onto those mortars. And the longbow as quickly as possible. So sending the riders into the back and then kind of just running Urukubarr through the melee troops. Here actually one of my rider is good to go here, and I'm setting up some waypoints already. Oh, was there not a longbow? And am I blind here? It actually looks like there might not be a longbow in this set. There's definitely a mortar, which obviously you're going to want to get on top of right away as well. You don't really want to be taking mortar hits. It looks like there might not be a longbow, which is, you know, yeah, then I mean, if that's the case, then I can just have, and it looks like it is, mortar and 2 knights. I mean, that means that we can have both of the other, or both of the rider troops riding, which, you know, make this a lot faster. Wyverns look like they've stayed pretty solid here in terms of their health. Like they don't seem to like they've lost any for a while. And they're here now. Basically, there's 3 different events, right? Your mammoth gets a splinter and it just stops moving. Actually, was there a second? I don't know what the second event was. Why was I thinking there was 3 different events? It stops for a little while because it's got a splinter, and then they say it swerves off. Yeah, I guess that's the next event, right? It swerves from the forest, which is fine, right? It means that they take the road instead of, you know, running through the forested areas. And then it's that they go berserk. Now, when they go berserk, you want to be nowhere near them, obviously, which is why it's a good idea to be up here anyway, and in the woods. So then you're not getting annihilated by them. So yeah, I mean, this was honestly, I feel like once I got this down, it was a little bit easier. But it really is still just there's a lot of luck involved, but in that you know, sometimes the Storm Riders can jump on your wyverns and annihilate them, but you know, it's pretty easy to keep the melee troops pretty healthy by staying in these wooded areas. And you know, for the most part, aside from that initial group of like the mortar and the longbow, you can stay in here and you'll be just fine. So yeah, that looks like that's the, like, what is it, the second or third? No, it must be like the 3rd group of enemies. Looks like it's now dead. And yeah, my ground troops were really healthy. I'm not sure. I missed what I sent my wyverns off onto, but probably just a bomber wing up there. Yeah, it looks like it's dead actually. So that's pretty much it for that. So there now the swamp mammoths are not enraged anymore, and yeah, at this point they keep moving. There's nothing else, as far as I remember anyway. There was nothing else here for my ground troops to do, so I just sent them up into the final area. Now, also, it may not have been that wise to send my wyverns. I probably should have sent all my wyverns up into the corner as well, because you see here a bunch more aerial units appear, and it gets a little scary here. Now, obviously, we got a lot of other allied aerial units as well, but a lot of them are engaged, and it'll be like 2 Storm Riders. Yeah, there was a Bomber Wing and a Storm Rider there, but my Wyvern was, or the allied Wyvern was basically already dead, so I didn't want to send my Wyverns over to deal with those Storm Riders, because I felt like that wasn't a good idea, because they'd probably get destroyed. So I sent them over there to the Bomber Wing. Generally, anytime... I mean, you can send your wyverns after bomber wings, and you know, bomber wings won't be able to deal any damage. It's really the storm riders, though. If there's some loose storm riders getting some hits in on your wyvern, that's going to be the problem. And you can see there now a storm rider has engaged my wyvern. So here I was a little bit concerned, but also at that, at some point there isn't that much we can do. Yeah, and you can see actually one of the wyverns for sure is taking some damage now. It said unblockable too, which kind of concerned me a little. Like I was thinking, okay, is there a ballista or something or archers that I couldn't see? But there's, as far as I can tell, there's no ground units. So I guess it must have been Storm Riders doing that. But anyways, I did send them off up into the top with me. Here you can see the mammoth is still slowly making its way over. I did send out my wyverns one last time here. Now, I also thought that they're wyverns under melee. Yeah, so that must be the Storm Riders getting some damage in on them. But I thought here at the end, and I'm going to have to listen to this one more time, but I thought that it said something about my wyverns getting wiped out, but I don't know if that was actually, I may have been hearing things. And at the end of the mission, my wyvern actually was technically still alive. So, but that threw me off. That made me think, well, did something happen? And that's why, that wyvern said that it, here you'll see the victory message in a little bit here, but it said that the one wyvern troop didn't get any kills, which Again, seems extremely unlikely, but I guess it's possible. So we'll see.
Stand, go.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see the mammoth now is basically just crossing over into the safe zone. And you only need to get one in there. You don't have to worry about all of them. Yeah, it says wyverns are critical right now.
Moving.
So yeah, here we're getting into some pretty scary territory.
Stay on course toward the burial grounds.
There it is. Mission accomplished. Yeah, and you can see they're still alive. Urukubarr's taking shots from a bomber there at the end. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Wyvern, 0 kills. And then the other one says 4 kills and only 372 experience. So again, what I would say here is that I wouldn't even bother worrying about the wyverns. That is so little experience that, you know, who even cares? So like, if your wyverns die there, I just wouldn't worry about it.
Move quickly.
All right, almost at the burial grounds. All right, so at this point now, I'm going to, you know, spend my experience, and we'll pick it up in the next one. So as always, hope the guide was helpful, and thank you for watching.